Johanna. Hi guys, welcome back to another Junk Journal with Me episode. So today's page is all about my kids' bedroom at the moment. So I wanted to do a page where I documented a bunch of photos from their bedroom. So like always, I choose a page to work on anywhere within my journal. And I usually just choose based on the type of paper and the patterns that are on the page, if I feel like they're going to suit what I want to document. So I chose this pretty yellow page with it's got one of my vintage linens printables on the page already. And I am just kind of fiddling around with all the photos. I have a lot of photos that I want to put in for this page, and I'm just kind of trying to work out how they're all going to fit. So this vintage sheet in the middle here, I actually decided to take out just because I felt like it was breaking up the double page spread a little bit too much. So I just decided to take it out completely, and that way I have like a full page, double page spread. But I do take the paper and I do try and include it on the page, so I just tore it down a little bit so that it could fit, and I'm just using that as a background on part of the page. So that was just going to give me a little bit of extra blank space and kind of an interesting background and more layers to the page. So that's why I decided to incorporate some of that paper. And then I am going back to my photos and I'm just kind of having a look at them all, trying to work out if there's any I can take out of the page and which ones I really wanted to include. I get a lot of questions about how I print my photos. These photos are all printed on my Canon Selfie printer at home, so I just use the app PicFrame to put the photos in to a grid, and then I can print multiple little photos onto one 6x4 sheet of photo paper. So that's how I get all the custom sized photos, the little tiny photos that work really well for journals. So that's all I've done here. I used to print my photos with Snapfish, which is like a company in Australia where you can get them printed and posted to you. But since I've got my Canon Selfie, I've just found it so convenient and I use it all the time to keep on top of my journaling. So I just glued that piece of vintage paper onto the page, and then I pulled out a couple of journal cards that I had that were kind of boy themed. So I had this larger card that I wanted to use as a photo mat that I could tip into my book. So using double-sided tape, I just chose a couple of the photos that worked well with that card, and I stuck one on the front and one on the back. This one that I'm sticking down now, I left the top open, so I didn't stick the top down so that I could slip something else inside it. Just because I knew that I had so many photos to put on this page, I was just trying to give myself as much room as possible. And then looking through the cards that I had from that same paper pack, I am just seeing what's going to fit and what works. I was looking for a card I could slip into the pocket that I just created that I could put more photos on top of again. So I chose this one with the black frame, and then on the back I just pretty much covered the entire card with this photo of my kids' curtains in the bedroom. So use double-sided tape again to stick that down, and then on the back side of that I stuck a little photo of the teddy bears on one of my boys' beds, and again I just used double-sided tape to stick that down. Then just fussing around with how I'm going to slip it in, what's the most functional, and just slipped it in and then I'm just fiddling around with the other photos that I have. So a lot of the time spent on this page was just trying to fit the pictures onto the page, because I kind of wanted to keep it on the double page spread. I didn't really want to have to go onto a third page. So I'm just doing a lot of just trying things out before I commit to anything, just because I didn't want to start sticking things down and then run out of space. So I stuck some pictures of the posters up the top of the page there, and I just overlap the smaller poster picture, which is actually in the picture that I first stuck down, but I've got a bigger size picture of it here, so I just stuck it over the top. This journal card I wanted to put in just because I really liked the colours and it looked a little bit vintage, but I really struggled with trying to fit it onto the page with all that I had, so it actually doesn't end up making it. But the other journal card that I have there with the numbers along the top is where I'm going to do my journaling, or some of my journaling. So I am just working out where I can stick that down. I just trimmed down the white space off that photo, and then it fit pretty well next to the journal card. So I just used my glue stick to glue the both of those beside each other, and I just moved the journal card down a little bit on the page when I glued it, because I wanted some of that vintage paper to peek through. Next, I'm just squeezing a couple of the smaller pictures along the bottom of the page, and then I use a little bit of washi tape along the top and bottom of the journal card. I just wanted to bring some more blue into that left-hand side page, and it also just gives a little bit of extra reinforcement to that journal card. Then I'm just trimming down some of this decorative tape to use as like the hinges for my tip-in for that card that I created earlier. So I decided to stick it on the right side page and just have it right down the bottom on the edge of the page. So just used the tape to attach that on. And then just a little bit more washi tape on that as well. Now I've got, I think, 3 other small photos that I want to fit. So there's one of a bunting that goes across their roof or ceiling in the bedroom, and then one of some pictures and a little boat and lighthouse ornament that they have in their room, and then another one which is a picture of some things that are on their shelf. And I wanted to include these in. I was having a little bit of a hard time trying to squeeze them onto the page. I didn't really want to cover up that vintage linens printable too much at this stage. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with that yet, but I didn't want to cover too much of it up because I like the look of it. So I was just trying to squeeze them in along the bottom, and they do end up fitting quite well once I trim them down just a little bit. And then I just trimmed off all the white space on that bunting photo, and it just fit really nicely along the bottom of that page. And then going back to these journal cards, the first one that I was trying to fit, I was just seeing if there was anywhere it worked, but it didn't. And then the other one with the red frame, I liked the way that it brought red into the right hand side because there's a bright red picture on the left. So I was just thinking maybe I could use it as a frame for one of the photos that I had. This is actually an old photo of my kids having a cuddle and I was seeing if it worked and if I could make it work, but I decided not to use that. And then because I was unsure, I just went to my stash of journal supplies and I pulled out some stickers. So these stickers are like a circus theme, but they just remind me of like kids' toys. So I just pulled out some of those and then I just start sticking a few of them around the page. So sometimes if ideas aren't flowing very quickly, like I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with the doily image, then I'll just move on to something else and come back to it. So just going ahead and adding some stickers, and yeah, that way the creative process kind of doesn't stop. You don't start to get stressed out, and yeah, you just keep producing new ideas. So when I was putting the stickers away, I realized that the packaging of the stickers was actually really cute and it fit quite nicely on top of that doily. So I decided to actually use the packaging itself, and so I just cut off the top side of it, added some blue and green twine, put it through the hole, and then I'm just gonna start sticking more stickers. So I pulled out a couple of stickers, and then this pencil case pouch holds book clippings and paper scraps. So I pulled out a couple of things from there. This is a really cute little image from a book that I've been saving, and it has two little boys in it, so I thought that was quite fitting for this page, and I decided to trim it down and use it inside the packaging like a frame. So I did that, and then I wanted to use some of this red paper, which is like my favorite paper ever, but I was still trying to bring in that red. So I was just trying to make it work on the right page with the red paper. So I wasn't sure exactly where I was going to fit it, so I just went ahead and stuck down what I knew, which was the packaging and the book illustration. I stuck that down with my glue stick, and then I go back to the red paper and just try and work it into the page. I used a tiny little scrap paper from the journal cards just to cover up the writing on the packaging, and then I'm just going to try and fit this red pattern somewhere on the page. So I trimmed it down into two pieces, and I end up using a piece along the top of that little frame and a piece along the bottom. So the scrap that was left over, I was just seeing if it would fit back on the left page, but it didn't really fit, so I just went ahead and trimmed down those patterned bits of scraps, and then I'm just going to stick them to the page using my glue stick. There were some kids playing outside my house just before. I don't know if you could hear them, but they were really, really loud. I think they're gone now, but sorry if you could hear them. So stuck those scrap papers onto the page, and I think after that I add some more stickers. So I've got a couple more packets of stickers. One is a packet of toy stickers, so there's like rockets and trains and robots and blocks, and then the other packet has a space theme, so it's got like planets and stars and stuff like that. So I'm just sticking some of those stickers onto the page. They're quite nice because they're a little bit see-through, and they also have some little gold foiling on them, so they're quite cute. And yeah, I just added them wherever I could fit them. There's quite a lot going on this page. It's quite busy, but it kind of goes with what I'm documenting because my kids' room is quite busy as well. It's got lots of bright colours, it's got lots of thrifty finds, and yeah, it's quite a big mishmash of things. So I quite liked how the page reflected that. Next, I just went through and pulled out a label, and I decided to stick it on the top left-hand side, but of course I didn't want to cover up my photos, so I just used my stapler so that it could lift like a little flap. and that just gives me a little bit of extra space for writing. So I went ahead and added my journaling to a few places on the page. So on both sides of the page, on the journal card that's tucked inside the pocket, along the bottom of any photos that I felt like they needed a little bit of annotating. So just so that you kind of know what the photos are. And yeah, so added some little bit of journaling, not too much. And then going back to the label, I'm using this as like my title for the page, and I just do some messy capital letters for the title, Laic and Wren's Room 2017. So I'm pretty sure that's all I do for this page. It's quite a busy page, but it was really fun to piece together like a puzzle, and I'm really happy with how it turns out. It looks really bright and happy, which is a good reflection of what their bedroom looks like. So this is the finished spread. I really hope you guys enjoyed this process video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and keep a lookout for the next video in this series. So I hope you guys are all having a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.